Continuing our coverage of the NFL draft, we get into the tight end position. Now, that might have sounded strange, but get your minds out of the gutter. We're talking about tight ends in the NFL. It's one of the weaker positions in this year's draft, but look, there's always gems to be found anywhere in the draft and at different positions. So our top tight end on the board is Chase Claypool from Notre Dame. Now, y'all might have thought that we're picking another tight end from Notre Dame as number one on the board, but it's going to be Chase Claypool. We just don't think he's going to transition as a wide receiver well to the league, and his position is going to be tight end, his more successful position. He's a 6'4" guy, 238 pounds, ran a 4.4 240, which is great for a tight end, even solid for a wide receiver. But we just don't think that he has the explosiveness or the wiggle to go against top corners. But when you're going against safeties, linebackers, and lesser corners as a tight end, there's a bigger rate, higher rate for success. So that's where we feel he's going to succeed. It might take a year or two, but he has a lot of upside if he goes to the tight end position. Meanwhile, his teammate, Kmet, pretty cool name, also a two-position athlete. Not only did he play tight end at Notre Dame, but he was the relief pitcher for Notre Dame's baseball team, picked up 8 saves. So if your fantasy team gives your tight end points for saves, grab Kmet. 6'6", 262 pounds, run a 4.7. This is the guy that's probably going to make the biggest impact in the NFL, the most instant impact right away. He can block. He's a safety valve for quarterbacks, and he has decent speed for a tight end. So he's a guy that can step in and make an impact. So if teams are looking for a guy to come in right away, Kmet is your guy. And he can get the last 3 outs for your baseball team. The one of the next receivers, tight ends that I like specifically, is Harrison Bryant from Florida Athletic. 6'5", 243 pounds, which is light for a tight end, but he'll put on weight in the NFL. Ran a 4.73 40, and very athletic. Switched from O-line to tight end, so he's still learning the position, but he's one of those guys that has been a safety valve. He can catch passes. He's been compared by an NFL scout to George Kittle, where he's a mismatched nightmare. He knows how to use his body well. He's going to catch passes, and he has enough speed to separate against linebackers and safeties. So Harrison Bryant is a guy that I would look for to make an impact in the league early. I don't know about his first year, maybe late in the year, but year 2 is a guy, he might be one of the stars of this tight end draft class. Another guy that's out there, Adam Trautman from Dayton. 6'5", 255 pounds, ran a 4.8 in the 40. So he has a build for a good tight end, but he's raw. So, like a lot of these tight ends, their blocking skills aren't great yet. They're more, worked at receiving tight ends, but Adam Trautman could be a guy that could have success in the league, but he's a guy that's going to take time to transition. So it might be a year or two before he makes any headway. But he's a guy that has solid upside as well. But it came from a small school, so you might, his learning curve might be a little longer than some of the other tight ends that are coming out in the draft. All right, a sleeper. I got to work on pronouncing some of these guys' names. Albert Okwuegbunam, tight end out of Missouri. Now, look, I might have pronounced his name, but if he becomes a star, then I'll worry about it. 6'5", 258 pounds, ran a 4.49 in the 40. Fastest tight end since 2003. Very raw, but he has the speed to separate. So right now, if you put him on a team, he's gonna separate from lesser corners, safeties, and linebackers. So he's a guy you can use right away in certain packages, but he's very raw. He's going to have to work and refine his skills, but he's a guy that you may want to keep an eye out for if your team drafts later, 4th, 5th to later rounds. Albert Okwuegbunam. I hope that's even close to the pronunciation, but like I said, if he becomes a star, I'll learn to pronounce that name. And there's your tight ends in this year's draft class.